Today, we are doing a deep dive into a new piece of software that has basically just detonated the developer community. It's an AI coding environment called Chad IDE. And I have to say, the source material we're digging into, it is not pulling any punches.
Not at all. I mean, the core critique we're examining calls this thing, and this is a direct quote, the brain rot IDE.
Brain rot IDE, wow.
It was founded by Kevin Lee and Richard Wong.
Yeah.
And here's the really crucial detail. It's backed by Y Combinator.
And that institutional backing is so important here. Because our mission today is to really unpack this, to look at the claims they're making about a productivity revolution versus the deeply bizarre reality of what they've actually built.
It's just wild. The whole foundation is embedding social media and literal gambling right next to your code while the AI is running.
So let's start with the problem they claim to be solving, because, it's a real one.
It is, yeah. What's fascinating is that they identified a genuinely frustrating part of the workflow. Developers are waiting for an AI suggestion to load, that latency kicks in, and what do? They grab their phone.
Right. You start scrolling Twitter or TikTok, and then your focus is just gone. That context switch is a killer.
Exactly. So they want to reduce that friction, but their goal for the solution, get this, they claim it saves developers 15 minutes per hour.
Wait, 15 minutes an hour? That's a 25% productivity gain. How is that possible?
Well, it's not based on any kind of controlled evidence anyway. What they're citing are survey results from beta users. So no peer-reviewed research, no controlled studies.
Sounds like they just watched people use it and said, that's good to us.
It's basically founders watching people fidget and calling it research.
Yeah, and the solution they built.
Yeah.
What is it exactly?
So instead of, fixing the latency or letting you do something else productive in the background, they just put the entire attention economy inside your coding window.
You mean like
YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, TikTok, your Twitter feed, the Stake Casino, and even Tinder, all right there.
Seriously? Tinder in your IDE?
This is where the cognitive dissonance just goes off the charts. They use these very clinical professional terms for it, like context preservation and micro interactions.
But that's not what that means. Context preservation is about keeping relevant data nearby, not putting a slot machine next to your function definition.
Exactly, which is why that one testimonial we found is so perfect. Someone called it a fidget spinner for brain.
That is so damning. It's the perfect description. It's a toy to keep your hands busy while your brain completely checks out.
And this, of course, led to this huge industry backlash we're seeing. A lot of critics immediately called it rage-baiting disguised as product.
I saw that quote from Jordy Hayes. She was pretty blunt about it.
Oh, yeah. She said, rage-baiting is for losers, calling out YC for validating this nonsense.
It's just so absurd that a lot of people thought it was an April Fool's joke, but it came out in November.
It really reminds you of that Dick Costello quote, that modern tech had become too ridiculous to parody.
Totally. But the Y Combinator validation, that's what makes it different. This isn't just some random startup. This is the same accelerator that backed Airbnb and Stripe.
And that's the core of the source's critique, that this institutional endorsement is kind of proof that Silicon Valley is just completely detached from workplace sanity.
Has the team behind it responded to any of this?
Well, Richard Wong, one of the founders, he told TechCrunch that the team genuinely believes Chad will be a beloved tool. He said it was never intended as rage bait.
But that kind of misses the entire point, doesn't it? It's not about their intention.
Exactly. It's about the act of embedding these incredibly destructive, addictive loops into a critical professional tool.
Okay, so if we pull this all together, what's the final verdict from our sources?
The verdict is that it's not innovation. It's Silicon Valley basically admitting total defeat to the attention economy and then deciding to profit from it. The source calls it cultural decay masquerading as disruption.
So they identified a real problem, that latency, that context switching.
Mm-hmm.
And then they proposed the absolute worst possible solution imaginable, just importing every single addictive distraction directly into the workspace.
And the source leaves us with this really provocative thought. It says if Chad succeeds, you should fully expect to see slot machines and GitHub Copilot Tinder in Android Studio.
Wow. So that's really the question for you to think about.
Yeah.
What boundaries, if any, are left between focus and addiction in our professional tools? Yeah. And are we now paying accelerators to help erase them? Something for you to mull over